Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenja ni Kriklasvana ve Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Mberi. So today is one day before Namibia decides at their elections. That's going to be tomorrow, and we'll certainly be giving you a little bit of a highlight of what's to be expected with regards to that. However, in some of our other stories, Kenyan police used tear gas to disperse anti-femicide protesters in Nairobi. President Nangolo Mbumba of Namibia has lauded political leaders and the nation at large for their exemplary conduct. And solar dryers transform Mozambique's fisheries. Follow all our programs on oneup2.com, DSTV 285, GoTV 25 in Namibia. Mike Sichula from Zambia and Rorisang Mogojwe from Botswana will be joining us to fill us in on the news making waves in their respective countries. And remember, Network Media Hub on YouTube is another space that you can find us. This is Africa Good Morning. Top stories shortly.
As the holiday season draws near, ShopRite and Synergy Chatbot are delivering the Christmas spirit. Welcome at Santa's wish list. Follow the instructions to submit your drawing and letter to Santa. Step 1. Start by drawing a picture for Santa. And when you're done, just jot down a few details about yourself right next to it. Step 2. Scan the QR code and it will open up WhatsApp with a little message that says #ShopRiteSanta. Just send that message to Santa. Or if you like, you can also type #ShopRiteSanta into WhatsApp and send it to the number as indicated. Step 3. Follow the simple steps in the chatbot and submit your name and age. And most excitingly, the present you've picked from the list. Don't forget to include your physical address so Santa can find his way to you. Step 4. Once you've completed the previous steps, snap a photo of your drawing and your letter to Santa to submit your entry.
Now, remember, I'm looking forward to all the wonderful drawings and letters you'll be sending my way. See you soon, and keep spreading that holiday cheer. Ho, ho, ho!
In our top stories, police in Kenya used tear gas to disperse a peaceful march in Nairobi commemorating the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Protesters later spoke out against the reaction by security forces and highlighted what they say is a lack of government action. Nairobi resident Waitira Karanja said they want accountability. The police are the ones who kill women, which is why they do not want us to protest against the killing of women. They are supposed to be protecting us, she said. Kenyan police agencies say there have been 97 cases of femicide in various parts of the country in the last 3 months alone, but activists say many more go unreported. Last week, Kenyan President William Ruto condemned the alarming rise in femicide cases and urged collective effort to protect women from gender-based violence. As the world marked the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, social justice activist Happy Olala said the Kenyan government is not doing enough. Now, in Namibia, President Nangolo Mbumba has lauded political leaders and the nation at large for their exemplary conduct during the campaign period, describing it as a testament to the country's deepening democratic values. With just hours to go before the nation votes in its 8th presidential and national assembly elections, Mbumba called on citizens to carry this spirit of peace into election day. Here is the president in his own words, sourced from the NAM presidency pages.
Fellow Namibians, good evening. For the past 34 years of our independence, peaceful, fair, and free elections have become part of our cherished culture of our constitutional democracy. Once again, the Namibian people will go to the polls the 27th of November 2024 to exercise their fundamental rights to elect the 5th President and members of the 8th National Assembly of the Republic of Namibia. Fellow Namibians, Ahead of this important date, in the journey of our nation, I want to share with you few observations. We are going to the 8th Presidential and National Assembly elections in a year that has been difficult following the unexpected passing of our beloved third President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Hage G. Geingob. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. Our processes, systems, and institutions were severely tested and remain firm. Thus, we continue the culture of free, fair, and peaceful elections. We owe a debt of gratitude to all citizens who have contributed immensely towards nation building and the strengthening of a culture of tolerance, peace, and stability. Fellow Namibians, I am pleased with the manner in which leaders of political parties and Namibians at large conducted themselves during the campaign period throughout our country. The climate in which you campaigned and freely expressed your views in favor of your political parties
The last of our top stories, Mozambique is experiencing widespread malnutrition, particularly among children, exacerbated by El Nino and other socio-economic factors. Food security in the country is threatened by extreme climate events such as droughts, floods, and cyclones. The ongoing conflict is leading to a lack of access to healthcare, nutrition, water, sanitation, and hygiene. As a coastal country, Mozambique produces significant amounts of fish, particularly from its marine fisheries. In the past, the fishing communities relied on insufficient traditional preservation methods to ensure the quality and safety of their catch. However, solar drying has been recently promoted as a solution to provide rural communities access to efficient and reliable food preservation and to improve food security. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. After the break, I'll be joined by Mike Sichula, our correspondent who is in Zambia, as he brings us the news stories from the real Africa.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
All right, we're now joined by Mike Sichula in Zambia as he brings us the news stories from the real Africa, as Zambia knows itself and as Zambia is known. How are you, Mike Budiwanji?
I'm very well, thank you. Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. Now, the government says no death was recorded in any public health facility during a nationwide power outage on Sunday. Tell us more context for sure.
Yeah, so Zambia experienced a power outage on Sunday, 15 minutes after 20 hours. And this power outage affected the entire nation. And you can imagine the issue of power supply to health facilities. So it is upon this issue that Zambian authorities says investigations by the Southern African coup have been constituted to establish what led to the power outage on Sunday. So according to acting ZESCO managing director Justin Longo, he said there was a power disruption on the Zambia and Zimbabwe interconnector whose cause is yet to be established. Then during the same power outage, undisclosed number of miners were trapped at two different mines on the copper belt. And these miners were, however, supplied with alternative power by the ZESCO Limited and the other energy company on the Copper Belt. Then coming to the health provision, the Ministry of Permanent Secretary and Ministry of Information did say that all health public institutions were served also with alternative sources of energy to avert any damage that could have happened to people that were on oxygen and others that needed to be supported by the provision of electricity. So all in all, the government has assured Zambians that the power outage did not cause any damage or any death to anyone who might have been in hospital receiving treatment using power supply.
All right, Mike. Now, former Vice President Dr. Nangolo Mbumba has launched an organization to rethink African democracy. Tell us more.
So Mr. Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, who is a pastor and also a politician, has called for innovation by African countries to effectively govern themselves. According to Mr. Dr. Mbumba, he says the current democratic systems are failing to bring about unity and prosperity that Africa desperately needs. He says African nations should adopt and reform their democracies to better address specific needs of individual countries. Dr. Mbumba was speaking during the launch of the Africa Center for Innovative Governance in Lusaka last week. So this organization is a new organization that he has founded, and he is the interim leader of this organization. Dr. Mbumba is a leader of the former governing party, the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, which has since entered an alliance with the governing party, the UPND. So many critics see this as a gateway for him because it seems he has lost interest to lead Zambia anytime if that allows during elections. So he has opted now to form an organization that looks at African politics away from governing the nation if he sought office anytime if he decides to.
All right, moving on, Mike. An American telecoms firm has plans to pump in $10 million AI investment in Zambia's financial sector. Please clarify this for us.
So Zambia has been receiving investments in all sectors of the economy. So this one, an American telecoms firm, Deodraft AI, Chief Executive Officer Salifianji Namwira, says the Silicon Valley-based firm will set up its African operation base in Lusaka. Ms. Namwira says the firm intends to work with various small and medium enterprises to provide AI-powered financial payment platforms. And the Minister of Technology and Science there in the picture in the middle, who was there during the one, Felix Mutati, says the government will support Deodraft AI as it sets up its business in the country. So the minister has been pushing this agenda for Zambia to have connectivity in terms of AI platforms and also digital migration in order to support economic growth through different sectors of the economy.
All right, Mike, very interesting, very exciting actually. Now, the World Health Organization has called for enforcement of laws to curb the circulation of substandard medicines in Africa.
Yeah, so the World Health Organization Regional Office for African Antimicrobial Resistance team leader Ali Ahmed Yayel says substandard and falsified medicines are also escalating the spread of drug resistance. So Dr. Yayel was speaking in an interview with public broadcasters, NBC, in Yaoundé, Cameroon, at the just ended Antimicrobial Resistance Summit. And the World Health Organization for Animal Health Antimicrobial Resistance Technical Officer for Eastern Africa, Jane Liokilio, said the organization has developed an alert system to address the circulation of substandard and fortified medicine in the African continent. So this issue of falsified and substandard medicine has also not spared Zambia because there are a number of drugs that when you go to the pharmacy and other unregistered pharmacies. These drugs are sold on the over the without any regulation. And if people consume this type of medicine, some of them end up dying because some of this medicine is substandard and has never been tested by authorities.
All right. Thank you, Mike Sichula, for bringing us the news stories as they are from Zambia.
Thank you very much. Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning. Indeed. We're now going to swing over to our correspondent in Botswana, Rorisang Mogojwe. Dumela Rorisang, how are you?
Mela Ashwin, I'm very well, thank you. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Rory, could you please take us into your first story?
My very first story for this morning, thank you very much for having me, is that President Dumaboko has announced the legalization of the hemp and cannabis cultivation in Botswana. This one has certainly got a lot of Botswana excited because it's new and this is fresh. It's the first time it's being done in Botswana. Is purely for medicinal and industrial purposes. Now, the whole point is to be able to diversify the economy of the country and reduce the heavy reliance that Botswana has on diamonds. Now, President Dumaboko did outline or did highlight the benefits of using hemp in order to cultivate eco-friendly products in Botswana, saying that there's going to be sustainable construction, textiles, as well as bioenergy and wellness, and this is meant to diversify the economy and create jobs in the country, as the country is currently facing high unemployment rate. He also cite international statistics saying that the global hemp market is worth about $400 billion, and Botswana intends to tap into that market. This is just one of the initiatives that he hopes that will attract foreign direct investment into the country. He mentioned industries like tourism, agriculture, energy, as well as technology, in order to diversify the economy of Botswana. Now, we understand that applications for these licenses will be open very soon, and that Botswana, all they need to do is apply for licenses to go and cultivate hemp for medicinal and industrial purposes. So we expect that to get the guidelines as to how and the what to be done very soon.
All right. Thank you very much, Rory-san. Could you please give us your other story before we wrap up with Botswana?
Yes, my other story has to do with the family of the Basarwa tribe, the late who will finally be buried in his ancestral home in the Central Kalahari Game Reserve, that's the CKGR. He will be buried by his family after a good 3 years. He died in December 2021, and his body has been in the mortuary since December 2021. He had a dying request to be buried in his ancestral land. Unfortunately, the previous administration had denied his family burial, and now the current administration has since overturned a court of appeal order allowing the family to finally bury their father as per Basarwa culture. Now, his body has been lying in mortuary since then. Now they will be finally able to bury him on the 10th of December, which coincides with International Human Rights. Now, this announcement means that the long-standing feud or battle between the government and the family is finally over, and that the family can now gain closure by burying their loved one in the CKGR.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Rory-san, for bringing us the latest news stories from Botswana. All right, we're going to swing over into the weather predictions before economic news. Zimbabwe's president hosted creditors and finance executives on Monday to discuss ambitious goals to clear debt arrears and restructure $12.7 billion in external debt as the country aims to eventually tap international capital markets for the first time in more than 2 decades. The Southern African nation's debt pile accounts for 81% of gross domestic product, and clearing it will be a tough challenge for a country that has faced numerous financial crises in recent decades, from repeated bouts of hyperinflation to multiple unsuccessful attempts to launch new currency regimes. President Emmerson Mnangagwa told the conference that Zimbabwe is negotiating a staff-monitored program with the International Monetary Fund. Securing an SMP would set the stage for required policy reforms, African Development Bank President Akinwumi Adesina told the conference. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning throughout the show. These are some of the highlights from today's program. Kenyan police used teargas to disperse anti-femicide protesters in Nairobi. Zimbabwe charts ambitious return to global finance at debt conference. Tomorrow, Namibia decides as the country goes to elections. Africa Good Morning will not be live. I shall be headed to the election watch desk, and we're going to be leaving you with a video clip on how you can stay informed throughout the process. But from me and the Africa Good Morning team, Sweraj Zakanaka. See you in a couple of days.
Stay informed as #Namibia Decides 2024. Save the Synergy chatbot 264-857-856231. Add to your contacts as Synergy Chatbot. Open the WhatsApp chat. Type elections. Click Select here for more options and click Manifestos. After that, select the party's manifesto that you would like to see. #Namibia Decides 2024.